got it. Okay. Welcome to Friday morning demo day. Qualified Tutor has the privilege to partner with amazing people like Zubair from Markel Direct. And Zubes and I have had the pleasure of visiting in your awesome offices in the walkie-talkie, which was an absolute treat for me because Odette got in touch with you and you were like, yeah, let's help tutors. So to dial back for a second, as you guys in the room and on in LinkedIn land know, the Qualified Tutor vision and mission is to ensure that every tutor worldwide is safe, skilled, and supported. And in order to do that, we need to make sure that you have everything you need. And a key element of that is insurance. Now, this presentation from Zoobs is going to be exploring what kind of insurance claims you may need to anticipate or have to anticipate as a tutor. And I will tell you the honest truth, I am flying blind here. So as usual, I'm going to show up like a learner and see what we can all glean from you. Zoobs, if it's all right with you, we are going to interrupt and ask questions throughout this demo to make it more fun. Is that all right?
That would be much better than me just talking and yapping on all.
There you go. So over to you.
Excellent. Hi guys, happy Friday. Nice to see you all. I was just saying to Julia then, public speaking is not for me. Give me a room full of people and just networking and stuff. I'd happily chat the ears off people. But yeah, bear with me. And yeah, questions, please fire them and ask them as we go along. It's probably a bit better to do it like that. Give me 2 seconds. Let's get the technology bit out of the way. And let me see if I can just share my screen. So how do we do that? Let's share screen. And
Yeah.
just a quick thumbs up. Everyone can see all of that.
Yeah, beautifully done.
Amazing, amazing. So my name's Zubair. People call me Zoobs for short. I am the business development manager for Markel Direct. Markel Direct are part of a large organisation, the Markel Corporation. I better stick to the slides, and I'll tell you a bit more about who they are. I've been with Markel for just over 2.5 years now. I've been working in self-employed insurance space for about 15 years. So working with people like Qualified Tutor and other partners where they've got members who need help with getting insurance in place, and we have these schemes that we've set up to help do that. So just a quick fly through the agenda of what we're going to go through today. Just a quick overview of who we are as a business and why Qualified Tutor are working with us. We'll also go through some case studies of and claims examples of potential claims that could come up for a tutor. As a business, I don't think we've actually seen any claims come in from teachers. It is a part of the a sector that we specialise in. But again, we want to give you some real life examples of claims that have happened, and then obviously we can chat through them in a bit more detail. And we'll just go through a bit more information about what other insurances you should consider as a tutor, to protect your livelihood. And also, yeah, just some other bits and pieces that you actually get as part of our package. And there's some nice freebies to consider as well. So we'll go through them as well. So who are Markel? So that's our fancy office there. So the one that Julia was talking about. We have offices on the 26th and 27th floor. So if ever you're in London, be cheeky, message me, and I'm sure we can show you around if I'm ever in London. We have offices throughout the country. We have offices in Birmingham, Manchester, Sheffield, Leeds. So it's a big old business, Markel. It's an American-owned company. And they've been going for quite a while now. I think in Markel UK there was about 400 employees. So they're very much specialists in PI insurance. They are an A-rated insurer, so you're not going to get better than that. We do pay out on claims. That's what we do. We actually market that quite well. So yeah, and as part of the relationship with Qualified Tutor, anyone that purchases insurance with us, you get a 15% discount. That's how nice they are. So, but yeah, you can. There's more details on that link down there that my colleague Catherine's put together for us. But the thing is, that quote and buy process is literally very streamlined. It takes you 5 minutes to get a quote and put a policy in place. If you're struggling, get in touch with me directly. We have an amazing call center in Manchester, and they'll be more than happy to talk you through a policy and explain the benefits of all the insurances, what they cover, and handhold you through the process. And just a bit more about other services in Markel UK. We have a Markel Law team, award winning. Then we're lawyered up to the maxes. If you ever need any support with legal, they'll be there. They'll be able to help, and they are really good at what they do. And as one of the bonuses at the end, it's covered off. I won't move in it now, but yeah, this is where this team comes in. And then we also have a tax team. They're very much specialists in IR35. Obviously, I'm not sure how much you guys know about IR35. If you work for your limited company, then it's really important. And they have.
And then remember your salary.
Edna, is that you? I'm going to press mute just in case. You're very, very welcome to unmute if you want to contribute. Go ahead, Zub.
So IR35, tax consultancy, tax services, tax insurance, there's all of that. But to be fair, that goes above my head. It's not in an area that I specialise in, but we do have that division. If you want to know more about that, just get in touch with me. I'm going to try and make it a bit more interesting. Talking about insurance can be a bit boring, but I'm sure some of these claims examples will be very, very interesting to you guys. So.
Zub, just to interrupt you to let you know that there are some members in the group who are already sharing that they've got their insurance through you with our discount. So that's pretty cool.
That is amazing. That's amazing. But then they can go and spread the word to the people they know then.
That's right.
So that's fantastic. So just to go over why we think insurance is important. So I'm just going to hide this screen so I can see the full slide. If you're working for your own limited company or as a self-employed sole trader, and then it becomes your own responsibility to sort your own insurances out just to cover yourselves. I work for Markel. I'm employed by Markel. I pay my taxes and everything. So all of my insurances are provided by Markel to protect me from doing my job. But once you go self-employed, it is your responsibility. At the end of the day, if a claim is made against you, you might not have done anything wrong. It could ruin your livelihood. It could actually ruin, everything. And without insurance, it's like anything, isn't it? Car insurance, anything. We always have to have it, and it certainly pays out when we need it. But I've known a lot of people that haven't had it, and it's come back to bite them. But it protects your livelihood. And in most cases, I'm not sure if it's the case with. I suppose QT and advising you to do the best practices, but you could go and work for someone like an end client, and it'll be in their contracts to say you have to have professional indemnity or public liability insurance. We work with a lot of IT contractors, management consultants, and if they're working for a big end client, say like a bank, it'll be in their terms to say you have to have insurance. So you've got no choice in buying it. But with you guys, I think there is a choice. And the best advice is having insurance will just will protect you. And again, like I said, it covers against what was I say? It covers against what's I got a note here. So without insurance, it protects you in two ways. It protects you as an employer of your business, doing the job that you do. But it will also cover you as a director of your company. So as a director, you'll have certain responsibilities to abide by and follow. So there's a list of all the different insurances that we cover on our scheme for you, and everything can be bought in isolation. So we'll go through some of these, and if you want to know a bit more about the other ones, just jump in and give me a shout, and we can go through them.
Maybe another important thing to mention, Zoobs. Hi everyone, I work for Markel as well in our direct team. Even if you know you've done nothing wrong and someone makes a claim against you and you don't have insurance, you'll still be out of pocket just to defend that claim because the legal fees soon rack up.
Thanks, Catherine. Thank you. And also, one of the main reasons of having insurance is it makes you look professional and trustworthy. So, you know, if an end client was going to hire someone, they'd rather have someone who it ticks all the boxes and is compliant. So, yeah, it's another reason to have insurance. So we'll just quickly fly through. Well, actually, we'll spend more time on this one, this insurance, because it's the most important insurance. Because I think this is the one that, you know, as an online tutor, or you know, if you're actually teaching in school or anywhere, is the main insurance you need to have. Has anyone come across professional indemnity before?
I have, yes. I've come across professional indemnity insurance. I'm here, honestly, and I'm awake.
Sam's in the house.
Thank you so much. Well, professional indemnity covers you for basically any bad advice or, you know, a bad service. So it could be, you know, it could be that, you know, resulting in some advice that you've given for the way you work, or some drawings that you've done, and then when someone has to be signed off, there's someone started making something and then it's done to the wrong spec. You know, you've wasted someone's time, you wasted someone's materials. It's a professional indemnity claim. It also, like Catherine said, it's not just going to pay out on the. So is that someone saying something?
Yeah. You're gonna really like this one. We're having a question in the chat about whether a student not getting their hoped for grade would be considered.
You're ruining my slides. We'll come to that one. That's a good shout.
I told you I'm going to show up as a learner. Learning is messy, Zoobs.
Brilliant. That's brilliant, though. So it, like I say, a lot of people think it will just pay out on claims, and if a PI claim comes in, it's going to be pretty substantial, you know, and that's why we offer £1 million worth of cover as standard. But like Catherine said, it covers all your legal costs and defence costs as well. So, for instance, if a claim is made against you and you're taken to court or anything like that, before it even pays out, it covers all of these kinds of things. So it's, you know, it is really important. PI insurance actually works very differently from any other insurance because it works on a claims made basis. So this is really interesting. For instance, something like public liability or any other insurance, as long as you have cover at the time of when the incident happens, you're protected. So, for instance, you could have a policy from January to December and then cancel your policy. And then if a claim comes in the next January for the work you've already done, you're protected because you had insurance at the time. But with PI insurance, for a claim to be valid, you have to have insurance at the time of the claim. So to explain, if you have a policy in place from January to June, for instance, and you cancel it, and then a claim comes in September where you don't have insurance, then you won't be protected. Does that make sense?
Yeah, but is there a reason why it works differently for professional indemnity?
It's, again, I think with professional indemnity, they want it to be kept in place for as long as you can, and that's why we can offer one-off cover. It's just the way it works, and it's just it's the way it's been always been, because claims for that service, I think it's got to be continuous. I don't know if there's anything else you want to add, Catherine.
Yeah, it's just more or less like some people might think, oh, I want to save that money and cancel their insurance. But there is value in having it there. Because even say if you're retirement age or you have a change in career, a claim can be made against you up to 6 years after you actually did that work. So actually having the insurance in place, and then when you've actually stopped that work, having run-off cover in place is also important.
What was that last phrase? Having what cover in place?
We call it run-off cover. So because you're not actually working at that time, you still have the insurance, but it's not as expensive.
Okay.
So if you close your company off or no longer working for your business, you don't have to actually pay the full premium to have cover in place, but you can buy less, cover for runoff, where it actually protects you if a claim does come in for PI. So, but yeah, it's very interesting insurance. But again, for tutors, I'd say this is the most important insurance to consider, because client claims a tutor taught the wrong syllabus, resulting in a failed exam. So, a private tutor was providing tuition for A-level. They taught the wrong syllabus. The child thought they were ready for the exams. When the exam came, it was nothing that they had, revised. So the parents said, "Well, that's your fault, tutor. You wasted our time. You've wasted our money. We're not happy with the service that you provided." And they wanted to make a claim against the tutor for all of that. So loss of time, loss of money, and if that's taken to court, then you'll be protected for any claims, and so any defense costs. And if it ended up saying that actually we've worked it out, there's 50 grand's worth of claim there, then that's where the insurance will kick in.
So if the claim was upheld, if the courts found in favor of the family who was suing the tutor, the insurance pays for that?
Well, it's like any insurance. It's just like car insurance. If you've got a Ferrari and you're paying for a Fiat Punto's premium, it's within reason. As long as the tutor has taught in their eyes the right syllabus, because that's what they've been told to do.
What if the tutor really had thought it was the AQA when it was the... Can't think of another. Brain's gone blank.
Yeah, no, it's a valid point. Then they've done their teaching on the basis of what they think was the right thing to do. So they'll obviously have to show their case. And if it's an honest mistake, then that's where PI will come in.
If it's an honest mistake, that's really, really...
honest mistake, because like if they've knowingly done it, and they, and the parents have got proof to say, no, we said we wanted this syllabus, and there's got to be proof, hasn't there? You can't just buy insurance to say, this and this, and then you've gone against
cover yourself for doing things badly. Yeah.
So again, it's bad service. If you're known, it's integrity, isn't it? The key word. And
good comment, Zoobs. In the chat, she said it's also important to keep records of communication from the parent and make sure you get details like exam boards for the parent in writing.
Well, without being too personal, we're going through some, we get some diagnosis for my little boy. And to be fair, whenever my wife speaks to someone, she always makes, it's never done on a phone call. Everything's done in email and keep written. So if you keep records, then that's fantastic. That will definitely work in your favor.
That's a pro move, Zoobs. I don't know who gave her that advice, but I wish I'd had it years ago. That's really, really clever of her.
Everything should be in writing, because otherwise, at least you've got proof then, haven't you? So,
do any of you actually use contracts for your work with clients as well? Because if you genuinely did, for example, believe it was a different board and you have it in like a contract, then that's like legally binding. So you have your proof there.
Yeah, that's really interesting. So terms and conditions is actually a requirement of qualified tutor certification for exactly that reason, because it creates clarity and trust. And it's just about having the ducks in a row, really, isn't it? And making sure that you're doing the best that you can do. And then mistakes are understandable, or sort of, they happen, right? But that's not poor practice then, is it? Go ahead.
Yeah.
No, it's in this world we live in now, everyone's always trying to find an excuse or to point fingers. So it's hard. But like I say, something like this, it could easily happen. And it's just nice to know that you've got the backup and peace of mind.
Peace of mind is a key element here, isn't it?
So second example, parent claims tutor was negligent. So
this is the same one. No?
Well, it says the first one was about teaching the wrong syllabus, but this could be easily like, we hired a tutor, my kids learned nothing, I don't like reading through slides. So I leave that on the screen to read. So I'm just giving you an example off my head. Say, you've hired a tutor. It's come to exam time. The kid's learned nothing. He failed his exam, and the parent's not happy with the way the kids learn, and they want to hold the tutor responsible. And that could be that could easily happen. So it's then down to the tutor to say, no, I did teach the kid. It's your kid's fault. He didn't want to learn. So it's an interesting one. There'll obviously have to be proof. And again, like Catherine said, as long as it's all written down, saying I've taught this, this, and this, I did it the right way, then they can cover their backs. But it doesn't stop a parent, saying, I'm not happy.
I'm really curious. I want to know what the group thinks about this, because we were talking about this from a sort of more personal approach yesterday about parents' expectations and that kind of thing. Sam, would you want to unmute and dive in?
No, because I think what I have to say is a conversation for another time.
Okay, thank you. I appreciate that. Thank you. Anita, did you want to share anything?
Yeah, sorry, I'm muted. Didn't
It's
realise.
okay. I'm reading your face. Go ahead.
Yeah, no. I feel really strongly about this because I'm an exam I'm an 11 plus tutor, and so you're in this situation, and I think you do have to unfortunately cover your back and be really, really clear with people that if you are providing students with, you can prove that you are helping them make some kind of progress, but you're not offering a guarantee. Nobody can guarantee a result, certainly for that kind of exam. And so there's got to be, I don't know, I mean, to me, it kind of makes me question, where does common sense come into this as well?
That's a great question in insurance, isn't it?
I think I can answer that. So for me personally, some parents are just a red line, aren't they? You get to a certain point and you go, actually, I don't think I can work with this person. You say, I'm really sorry. It turns out that my last space has just been booked out. I can't help you on this occasion. And you just let that person go because you just cannot work with everyone.
That's really wise.
The thing is, I think with this kind of claim, you're going to stand your ground. You're just going to say, I've done this. And I think 7 times out of 10, the parent will back off because they're not going to be bothered to take it any further. They'll just try and cause of a fuss. But if push came to shove and they did take it to court or did take it further, at least you've got peace of mind that you've got insurance and it does, it covers you. This is what we're talking about, isn't it? I think a claim like this wouldn't go as far as going to court or something like that. In this kind of instance, it's very likely because you'll feel strongly about the service that you're providing and how you're working. But this is last resort. If a claim does come in, at least you've got that peace of mind.
It's really, I mean, you've chosen the most triggering examples, Zubes. And I want to share with you on the first example, our level 3 award in education and training actually has a question, A1.2, that is about exactly that thing, where you have a responsibility to deliver tutoring at the level that the child needs. So at every, and that's an off-qual, requirement for tutors to be able to say, I will know what the exam board is, and I will deliver to that exam board. So it's really interesting that there are these sort of hard lines that you're identifying here.
That's brilliant. I'm just reading some of the comments. It's so positive.
Good, aren't we?
It's how interactive it is. It's fantastic. Thank you. But I said this kind of insurance, it's a difficult one because with PI, you are experts in your field, and only you know how good your service is. But I say, unfortunately, clients, parents, everyone's going to be difficult if there's a way they're saying that they're not happy and they'll try and go back. But honestly, I don't think people will go too far down the line if you stand your ground, and I think you'll be able to stick up for yourselves. But at least you know that this is what professional indemnity covers. It's a difficult one to explain in the world of tutoring, but to reassure you, we are an insurance company. All claims are dealt with internally, and PI is Markel's speciality. That's what we're known for.
Thanks.
Okay?
Thanks. That is reassuring. And I think talking it through is reassuring also.
Yeah. The next one, I don't know how many of you guys are online tutors or how many of you actually go to physically teach children, but this is probably the other insurance that we would suggest that you take. Public liability is mainly for tradesmen because they go out and see people go to their houses. It basically covers you for any damage to third-party property or person. So if you're going out seeing people, if you're going into school, if you're going to someone's house, then it's best to take public liability out. The really good thing about our package is that we actually offer professional indemnity, public liability in a combined policy. It's not really done anywhere. I've not seen it done before. So, you know, you pay one premium for both insurances, so you're getting a very, very good deal. That's products liability as well. It covers you against first party damage to product as well. So, typical example, you're literally a student's visiting your house, they fall over and break their arm because they're in your house. It's your responsibility to done that. They might make a claim against you. So it covers you for the legal defense costs as well. But again, it's an easy one to prove as well. Another one is you're working in an office. Sorry?
Good example.
Yeah, if you're working in a school, they lend you a laptop or they lend you a piece of equipment or print or something to use, and you damage it, spill coffee on it or something, then that laptop, that piece of equipment will be insured as well. It could be you're in a school, you left your laptop bag on the floor, someone's tripped over it. They could say it's your fault for leaving that there. These kinds of claims do happen, and it's a very inexpensive insurance to have, but that's irrelevant here because we offer a combined PI and PL.
What if we're out and about having meetings, not actually tutoring, but arranging tutoring opportunities, or doing quiet work in a cafe somewhere?
Still working.
You're still working.
It's still under the category of your work life.
Yeah, for instance, if you did damage to something and they said it's your fault, we want to make a claim against you based on that negligence, and then there's public liability coming. But this is more a physical damage than PI, where that's work related, service based. Sorry.
Okay, and then when it comes to my own laptop, is that covered in? It's not covered in this bit. It's covered
No. So this is third party. So this is if someone else gets hurt or injured or because of something that you've done. So we'll come on to that.
Okay, good. I'm being the ignoramus on everyone's behalf today.
Hang on a sec before we move on from public liability. Does public liability, not that this has ever happened, cover you when you accidentally scratch someone's very expensive antique bought in Harrods dining table that needs the French polish replacing? Just a thought.
Yeah, so if you're at someone's house and you're working at their expensive table and you've put something down and they say you've caused that damage, that's damage to third party property. So in essence, public liability comes into effect. So it would they could make a claim against you saying you've damaged my table, I need to get it fixed.
Just checking, thank you.
So, yeah.
Sam, how's the table?
The table is just fine. We balanced each other out because their younger son decided to pressure wash my car bonnet, which resulted in the top layer of lacquer being removed. So I paid for the car bonnet and they paid for the table.
Who got the better deal?
I think it weighed itself out in the end, honestly.
Goodness me.
Brilliant.
Very good.
I noticed Anita asked a question in the chat saying my insurance company charge a really high fee for cyber security insurance. Is that an industry standard thing?
Right.
It's not an industry standard. Every insurer is different. So say, for example, an insurance company has a lot of cyber security claims that year, they'll up their premiums. But at Markel Direct, our insurance for cyber is from £5 a month, and then you would get your 15% discount on top of that.
Thanks, Catherine. So yeah, just a few other insurances. I'll rattle through these. Like I say, if you want to know more, you'll have my email address and stuff, or I can send you further details. So Julia, this is where your laptop will come in. So we can offer portable equipment cover. So if you're taking your laptop working around everywhere and if something happens to it, there's an excess, as well, like anything, but you can protect your portable equipment and any equipment on this policy as well. So go on.
Yeah, any work-related equipment.
Any work-related equipment, yeah.
So if I leave my if I leave my rucksack on the train and it's got laptop, charger, let's see, my phone's in there, resources, then I'll claim for all of those.
You can claim whatever you put in the insurance, yeah. But there's two different covers you can buy. You can buy portable equipment cover in a home or out and about as well. So there'll be different premiums, and they differentiate a little bit if you want to cover it out and about. So
Okay.
you've just got to choose which one you want.
Okay.
Okay. Legal expenses insurance, another nice insurance to consider. It just protects your business against a wide range of legal costs, contract disputes, HMRC claims, tax investigation. If you ever call into jury service, so for instance, if it puts you out of pocket because you're not earning, then the jury service will cover your cost of your wages. And contract dispute as well is a really, really good one. But we'll come on to that a bit further. Any questions, just jump in, but I'll keep moving on.
Well, no, hold on a second. Anita said something here that's really important. Do you mind if I you've put it in the chat. So you said that you feel like you attract people who think you're a walking bank, which is to say it's difficult to know what a good deal looks like. And I can relate to that, which is why I let Odette do these things. But honestly, those of us who are from an education background, we're not used to shopping around and needing to get the best deal because somebody else does that for us in school. What would your advice be about how to make sure that what's being proposed to us is fair? Is that an okay ask?
So our insurance offering.
Well, so again, because Odette's done that work with you in building the relationship, getting the discount, understanding that it's the right thing, and now we've had some members checking it, there's a certain amount of reassurance that comes from that process that we've been through. But say it's, I don't know, an equivalent example that doesn't. Anita, do you want to dive in, because you sort of seem to know what I'm trying to get at?
Yeah, it's just you don't know what you don't know. You don't know. And also I think the thing with tutoring is that there's very few people that offer insurance to tutors. From what I understand, again, this is my limited research, and so you are stuck with, you go with who everyone else is recommending, and then they quote you some crazy price. You're going, yeah, okay, fine, because that's the only option on the table right now.
Well, you're lucky Odette's found us then.
Yeah, to save us all.
We specialise in insuring self-employed contractors, freelancers, sole traders. That's our bread and butter. We had to update our numbers the other day. We insure over 36,000 people on this scheme, and it's not just tutors, not 36,000 tutors. We do anything from a yoga instructor, PT, estate agents, photographers, IT contractors, engineers, all of it. And this is because we are an insurer. So Markel Direct is the broker division, but Markel insures the policy, and that's why we can, we can do all of these different professions. We take pride in our premiums. The fact on our quote and
what does that mean? We take pride in our premiums?
We've got to be competitive. We have to be competitive. We have to make sure the price points are right. We wouldn't have this many customers if our price point wasn't right. At the end of the day,
premium means how much I have to pay of each claim?
No, premium is what you're paying for the insurance.
It's what you're paying per month.
Yeah, like Anita was saying, it could cost an arm and a leg. We make all of our premiums as competitive as we can, because we have to be in this market. But in my previous company, they were very much focused on like blue collar workers, like office based workers, like engineers, consultants, IT contractors. but we actually take pride in all of the other roles as well, you know, that are self-employed rather than through limited companies. And we're constantly expanding our portfolio of professions. You know, this is something that we take pride in. You know, this is what we're good at. So I'm confident our premiums are at a very, you know, competitive price point. The thing with our quote and buy portal, if you've got time, I'll run through a dummy quote so you can see how easy it is.
That's a great idea. There is a juicy question in the chat though, so bear that in mind as well.
Sorry?
I said, yeah, that doing a demo would be really
I'll do that for
helpful.
you. I'll do that for you. It's not a problem.
And then you've got a couple of really juicy questions in the chat here as well when you're ready.
Just to add as well from a legal perspective, we're a regulated industry, so we're regulated by the Financial Services Authority and Financial Conduct Authority, sorry, and we have a duty to give fair prices. So we will constantly be like checking our premiums against competitors and making sure that they're fair what we're charging. But we won't say on our website like just £5 a month, because we don't want to presume that it's just £5 a month for somebody, because that could be a lot to one person and not a lot to another person.
Oh, so the word just feels inappropriate.
Yeah, we don't like to say cheap or any of those kind of descriptions.
Yeah, and Zub's phrase about we take pride in, and the parallel to a yoga teacher, those things resonated with me really clearly.
Yeah, and do you know what? In this day and age,
Julia, can I just stop you?
Come on, Sam!
We are so different to yoga teachers. It's unbelievable.
Is that because we mostly eat biscuits for breakfast?
Yes, we eat a lot more biscuits. That's the key point, and cake. And if you just sort of stop to think about that statement, you know, lots of tutors work on one-on-one. Yoga teaching is traditionally done in classes. There's hall hire, whereas if you're tutoring, you're often in somebody's home. It's very different, I think, possibly from an insurance perspective as well.
I mean, I definitely take the point that whatever your delivery model is will affect your insurance information. And maybe Zubs will show us that in the quote in a second, the dummy quote for dummies. But I would suggest also that there are people in this room who are hiring halls, and there are people in this room who are tutoring in groups. And so for me, what's really interesting is the variety, right? And so Markel have to wrap their heads around the different ways that tutors work, and that's what makes us complicated. So, for example, when Zubs and I first started talking, when Zubs and Odette first started talking, I just waved. They discussed whether qualified tutor could offer some sort of umbrella insurance that would cover, everyone who was a member. And the answer was no, because it's too complicated, because everybody works differently. And so we're constantly having this back and forth about what's the right thing to do. Zubs, go ahead.
Yeah, no, I was just going to touch on the point about in this day and age, there's a lot of emphasis on vulnerable customers as well, with the cost of everything going up. You know, if someone come to us and said that, I'm struggling to pay my policy or something's happened, we take that into consideration. We'll be as supportive as we can. If that means deferring a month's payment or doing, we're here to support our customers.
Brilliant.
And it goes a long way. We're quite proud of that, and it's Markel is a great business. I'm not saying that because I work here. They genuinely do take care of their customers. So, but like I say, yeah, it is. It's a scary world with when you're relying on someone, and you want to find a trustworthy supplier, and hopefully this partnership between Qualified Tutor and Markel goes a long way, and it started really well, if I'm being honest.
Yeah, it's nice, isn't it? I wanted to share with you something else that Sam just made me think of when you say it's a scary world. Zub, we are now finding tutors, finding students from all over the world, whereas many of us traditionally had found local students from local families, from a local playground. Now we are working with people all over the world and not knowing whether we're going to get paid and not knowing whether we're going to get sued. And the unknowns become a lot sort of loomier. Are you guys, Lauren, does that resonate with you? And it's interesting because it's the same reason that we need certification. Go ahead, Lauren. It's because you're on your phone. I got it.
Yeah, sorry, I can't.
No
If I
problem.
try and turn my mic on, I can't then see anyone. But let me know if I
You've
go
done
off.
it. All the things.
Yeah, I'm normally on Zoom on my laptop, so this has thrown me. Yeah, just the idea of, like you said, tutoring is evolving and trying to sort of scale the business. And I know it's totally normal to be kind of terrified by those changes and trying to do my due diligence. So so far it's been quite difficult to find like the advice that I've received trustworthy, because I feel like there's been quite a bit of scaremongering, and I kind of just want to talk to someone who does understand the nuance of what I'm trying to do, and not bundle me together with a hairdresser or a yoga teacher or whatever else. I understand they're trying to support all these different professions, but where I have spoken to people, I just feel like they're not understanding what I offer, so I don't want to invest with them, invest my money by, I don't feel necessarily that it's clear to me what it does cover, and if I'm going to pay out. Some of the quotes I've had have been sort of over £1,000, and I'm only one person. It's not like a huge business, so I just can't afford that.
But Lauren, you actually mentioned as well that you are taking on other tutors.
Yes. At the moment, I've only got a handful, and they it's trying to sort of collaborate with other tutors, and I want to do that as a way of scaling and supporting other tutors. But yeah, it's really tricky. I've had such mixed advice in terms of what's required of me, and trying to do the right thing, but not knowing what the right thing is. So.
Yeah, fantastic.
I don't want to throw any spanners into work, but the policies that we offer are based on a non-advised sale. So by that I mean it's ultimately down to you if you want to buy the policy, because we're not a broker. We don't, it's like if you go to a broker, they'll source a policy, and they'll keep a cut of it. But if you spoke to a call center, they'll advise you, actually, this is what PI covers, this is what this covers. If you ask a question, will it cover for me for this? They can say, it will cover you for the PI will cover this, the PI will cover this, and it's ultimately down to you to say, I'm happy with that policy, we'll take it. But Lauren, you've made some amazing points there. Yeah. Let me come to a few more slides, and there's some stuff in there that would really, really help you guys as part of the solution we offer. So I can't believe the 45 minutes gone.
I know. I should have warned you how good we are. The other questions in the chat, including this one from who was it I was just speaking with? Karina. I will come back to you as long as hopefully we'll have time. Go ahead, Zood, go forward.
Yeah, there's a bit of that there. So yeah, let's just fly through these other insurances. If you guys want to know more about these insurances, then let me know. But yeah, legal expenses, portable, we've done. Cyber insurance, let me do a dummy quote and we can show you how much these insurances cost, but it's worth considering. And like Lauren said, if you start taking on employees, then employers' liability is compulsory. And directors and officers covers you for being a director of your business. You have duties to adhere to, so that's a nice insurance to have. But again, the bigger you get, the more reason you need some of these insurances. So why work with Markel? We cover some of these off, so you can get a quote within minutes. You go online, put your details in. You can buy it online, or you can buy it through a call center. All of our policy wordings are based on, industry specific cover. So if, it's not the same policy wording for an IT contractor to a teacher, or, the policy wordings are specific to what you're doing. So we're proud to say that we've actually have a really a platinum score on FIFO. So this is based on over 2,500 reviews from our customers. I think our rating is 4.7 out of 5. And also we've just got our 10 years of excellence award. So you can see how long we've been doing this and how long we've been at the top. A nice thing to consider is if you want to pay monthly, it doesn't cost any extra. So it's interest free, which is a nice perk, because a lot of insurance companies, like car insurance companies, they'll charge you more if you want to pay monthly. And the bottom one, this is really a nice thing to talk about. Everyone that buys a policy through Markel Direct, they get access to a 24-hour legal helpline and business hub. So the Business Hub, it has over 9,000 contracts, policies, forms, templates for you to consider and use, guides to on how to run your business. And yeah, it's fantastic, you know, and I think that's what Lauren was coming to. If you need support and writing contracts, or, you know, or I don't know what to do here, there's loads of useful information in this Business Hub that you get access to. This normally costs extra if you buy it in isolation through other services at Markel, but anyone that buys a policy through Markel Direct gets this free of charge. And also the legal helpline, you get that included as well. It just gives you, you know, if there's someone there if you need any advice around, you know, any legal queries that you've had. No limited number of times you can call. You know, it's there if you need it.
Catherine, are you capturing some of these questions, because they're really juicy, aren't they? We're thinking a lot about international students.
Oh yeah, I was just actually replying to Anita's comment.
Good, thanks.
My way down on.
Sorry, Zoobs, I know we're working you hard today. Keep going. It's like we have two conversations at the same time.
Those are the slides, but I want to do a demo. So
come on, then, do it. Bring it.
Solution. But let's answer some of these questions then.
Okay, so we might not be able to do a demo because we always close on time. So we've got 12 minutes. For me, the first point is this part about international students. So does insurance cover international students and the example claims that we discussed earlier? Does it cover people failing to pay? Were there any other elements to that we wanted to unpack with the international question? Or was it just that question from Karina about, you know, I live with my heart in my mouth because it's just so nerve-wracking?
International is an interesting one. I might need to go away and come back to you on that. So the whole point of this business, as long as 75% of your work is based out of the UK, so you are a UK business. As long as you're paying taxes in the UK, it's not a problem, because that's how you're going to be working. But international
the problem I've come up against in the past is that because they're looking at a different legal jurisdiction, most insurers will say we don't deal with this because it's outside of British law. And particularly now that we're no longer European, you can't rely on the European legal framework. They'll just say, sorry, I mean, you know, if you're teaching internationally and some of your clients are in China and some are in South Korea and some are in India, we can't help you. And that's that. So I'm asking specifically to know, and maybe that's something you need to take away and follow up.
I will do, because it's a difficult. This is the world of the internet now, isn't it? You know, because it's not. We're all not somewhere else in the world, but because most, like I say, it's most of our contractors. They would be either. It depends on whose law you're abiding to. There is an element of our policy that will let you do work outside the UK, but if it's 100% outside the UK, then I'm not sure if our policy will be right. Or I don't know if we can put endorsements on, but like I say, if these questions need to go in a bit more detail, I'll go on.
So maybe that's one for Julia as well. Something I've come up against in the past is that actually nobody covers you with insurance for outside of the UK. That's something I haven't looked in the last 3.5 years, honestly, but certainly when I did last look, nobody does that.
Well, Zoobs, I'm going to get Odette on you, so you've been warned.
Listen, we're here to you know, I like these questions, and we've got our underwriters will definitely, you know, give us some advice on that. I'm just thinking it's all to do with the law of that country. So if you're teaching someone in China, would their curriculum will be different, won't it?
So the way this works is that we certainly, for me, I can't talk about everybody else. I'm sure lots of other people do different things. But for example, the British academic system attracts students worldwide. They go home in the school holidays. They need topping up, and you're teaching them online whilst they're at home, for example. Or they want to migrate to Britain or maybe Germany in some cases, and you are topping up their language skills in some way to help with that migration process, to help integrate them into the education system when they reach those countries. Those are all real cases that I've dealt with.
Yeah. Well, I think the best thing to do is if we come away from this with questions that I
Yeah.
can't answer, I had them written down, and me and Catherine will get them answered, and then I'm sure Julia and Adept can share them with you guys.
Yeah,
Is that
absolutely
okay?
right. That
Yeah,
is really juicy. Go ahead.
sorry, we can cover up to 25% of your work being international with our policy, but I'm sure there is, if it's more, there will be other insurers out there, I'd imagine, that can cover more. Or if you can't find like a policy online, if you speak to an insurance broker, they might be able to do the work for you.
Yeah, so I think Catherine sounds saying that she's done that work and she hasn't had.
So the last time I engaged with a broker on this, they couldn't come up with anything. But that hasn't been for some years. So maybe things have changed.
Yeah, I would imagine there'll be more flexibility now, but I can't say for certain. Hopefully there is.
So Catherine did say 25% of your work, up to 25% of your work being international is covered.
Yeah.
So we'll follow up with that with you guys. Thank you so much for that question. It's really seriously juicy. We do have 5 minutes, 8 minutes actually, for a dummy demo if you want to have a go.
Yeah, so can you see
Let's
my
go.
screen again? Is that okay?
Yeah.
Yeah. So this is the quote and buy page we've created for you guys. So and if you type in tutor, it'll give you all the different options of tutors, whether you're, tutor at home or Ofsted tutor. But again, whatever works for you, you can choose the right one. It's simply just literally put in your turnover, £75,000 is all your income generated in the UK. That's the question we were talking about. For the ease of this one, we'll just put yes for now, just as a straightforward quote. Whether you're a limited company or self-employed, how many people work for your business? So if most people are working for themselves, we'll just leave that as that is. And then here's the question about portable equipment. If you put yes, do you own an office? Well, you work from home, so you don't need that because you'll have home insurance. And then you pick and choose whether you want it to be within or within the office or away from the office, Julia. So if you're
but could you just make it clear to me, what would that do to the premium? How much would it cost me extra to be insured?
Right, let's do that. Let's do that. So we can build in. So yes. So I have £3,000 worth of equipment, like laptops and stuff that I use. And it's simply just, I'm going to do fake details so my colleagues don't think it's a real quote and get excited. And then make sure there's pre-populated discount code, which is fantastic, which we'll do. Sorry, we don't need. Actually, we do it in the office as well. So if we just do 3,000 there as well. So it'll tell you if you need to put figures in everything, unfortunately. And as simple as that. Oh dear.
Oh no, but then you have to know about traffic lights, and that's difficult.
Hey, first time.
Be sure whether or not you're a robot.
So and this page, it literally you just go and build out your quote. So as I said before, public liability, professional indemnity, we offer it as a combined package, which is fantastic. And it literally, the cost of that is for £1 million worth of cover, £114. And you can see here, it's at £38.08 for annually for the portable equipment cover that Julia says.
Yeah. Okay. So
that's
this is all annually. It doesn't say, it says annual on the right there. Yeah, my window was covering it.
Yeah. So and away from the office. Sorry. So that's if you want to cover it in the office, and you've got equipment, and so away from the office, another £34 a year, and then you can actually start adding all the other insurance if you want them. So you can see legal expenses is £47. Cyber, ours is very competitively priced, and you just choose what level you cover you want. £75 for 250 grand worth of cover. Like I think someone said they had a quote for £500 somewhere, but this is based on a small business. We've done our research, and it's a nice cover to consider. But it just builds it nicely for you on the side here. It takes a discount off. That's how simple our quote process is. You just confirm it, put your payment details in, and your documents get sent to you instantly via email.
That's brilliant, thank you, and quite unscary.
You can split it to monthly payments as well.
Yeah, it's interest free.
Okay, so Ebony's asked about what cover amounts you would recommend, and I'm curious to know what that does to the numbers.
So it's a non-advised sale. Ebony. So it's we can't tell you what levels of cover you should have. $1 million is the minimum amount, which is quite substantial. I can't really give any advice on it, but like I said, the premiums go up a bit, so you can see it literally goes up by £60 to go from 1 to 5. So that's quite inexpensive, to be fair. But I would always look at who you're working for. It would be in their terms to say, do I need insurance? What level of cover would they recommend? So if it's a contractual requirement, it will be in the contract you're working with.
Yeah. So Anita says that her school required 5 mil.
Exactly. There you go. So you just got to follow that. But we can change the limits quite easily depending on what you want. So
right. Let's just unpack that piece about non-advisory. So you can do the maths, you can run the quote, but you can't tell us what we should or shouldn't be doing, because then it can come back to you afterwards. Is that right?
Yeah. So our guys can actually say what it covers. If someone says, I'm doing this, and I'm going to be doing this, they can say, that's covered.
Yeah.
They can't give advice on what limits you should buy. They can't give advice on,
I see what you mean. So they can tell you what's covered. Yeah.
And explain what the insurance is.
I think we're saying here that it's the difference between the bank that provides the mortgage and the insurance broker who suggests which mortgage you should get in the first place.
Yeah, so the insurance broker, they're allowed to give advice because they'll earn about 25% of the premium. That's their job. Whereas the product that we offer, it's fit for purpose, because this is what we do, this is the area we focus on. But like you, Sam, if you had that question about international, we can give advice on saying how much we can cover, and we can say yes or no, we can cover that. So I just need to go and find that out. So we just got to be careful. There is a murky line here. But it's like for instance, the question about levels of cover, we can't advise on that. We can just tell you what levels we can insure, and it's up to you to choose the right limit.
Right. So that does sort of take us back to, we don't know what we don't know, but we feel a lot closer to the problem than we were at the beginning of this conversation. So, but for me, this point about the way Lauren said it about this space is evolving, and the way Sam said it about needing to find out what that means in terms of international tutoring, it seems like that's a great big piece of homework that we can do together to find out what we can do to support that.
I'm noting down all your questions, by the way, because I know
Thank
we've
you.
got 1 minute left, and we'll get the answers over to you, Julia, and you can email them out to everybody.
Thanks, Catherine. Thank you. I
Julia,
really
can I just
appreciate
say that this has been the most interactive webinar me and Catherine have done. So thank you so much for that for you guys as well. Thank you for asking the questions. It goes a long way, because I've done presentations before and you sit in a room and no one talks to you, and it's just like, what's the point? You don't. So thank you. It's been very engaging. So we'll go away and answer some of these questions, and you've got my details. I'm sure. Are you going to share the slides with them as well? My contact details are on there, and
Yeah, we can do that. Yeah, we can add that.
We'll answer any questions that you've got. But yeah, I know some of you have purchased. Hopefully, we can get most of you guys moved over to Markel Direct for your insurances when your renewals are due. If you want to share your renewal date with me, I'll put it in my diary, and one of our advisors will give you a call a month before your renewal just to do a quotation and get that sorted for you. So we're here to help. I'm sorry I couldn't answer all the questions, but we'll get them answered.
Fantastic. You guys are awesome, and it's such a treat and a privilege to be able to work with you, especially when it involves coming to visit. So if you wouldn't mind hosting the next Love Tutoring Festival, we'd love to talk to you about that. Thank you so much to everyone, to Sam, to Christopher, to Anita, to Lauren, to Helen, to Amandeep, to Ebony, and to Karina for making Zoobs and Catherine really think about tutoring, because when we do that, we make change together. So it's a real joy.
Someone, now we know this exists. I've got children, so we might need someone to help me. And so, yeah, we'll keep in touch.
This, my friend, is what good looks like. See you later. Have a lovely weekend.
Okay, guys.
Bye.
Bye.